Another day, another Pokemon game, am I right? So on Tuesday, in a special Pokemon Nintendo Direct, a brand new main series Pokemon game was revealed. We didn't see much, but I saw enough to have opinions! For starters, most of the Nintendo Direct was centered around a Pokemon game for the Switch. I think everyone who heard those words peed their pants a little bit, hoping for a main series console release. Well, it turns out it was just a port of Pokken Tournament. And I don't know how I managed to unpee my pants, but they were dry and my bladder was full again, and I don't know, it was weird. Look, if they want to port Pokken on the Switch, that's great. I don't care. But you're gonna piss people off by being like, oh, here comes a Pokemon game for Switch. Oh, by the way, it's a port of a fighting game. Anyway, I digress. I'm glad people who have a Switch and not a Wii U will be able to play Pokken, etc., etc. The real exciting part of the Direct was the reveal of Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, which was sneakily tacked onto the end of the Pokken trailer. I definitely wasn't expecting this, but we should have seen it coming. I think for some reason us Pokemon fans are unable to let go of the idea that they're going to keep making third versions like Yellow, Crystal, Emerald, and Platinum, when for 3 generations now, they haven't. There was no Gray, no Z, and now no Stars or Eclipse or whatever the hell else people thought it was gonna be. I mean, it's reasonable to assume the same number of people that would buy the hypothetical Pokemon Stars would also buy Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon, if not both. I mean, why release one game when you could release 2 slightly different games in the hope that at least some people will buy both? Well played, Nintendo. The bottom line is, I think at least for the foreseeable future, it's safe to assume Nintendo's done releasing those third versions like Yellow, and will either supplement each generation with sequels like Black and White 2, or remakes like Oris. And I know a lot of people want those Sinnoh remakes. Personally, I don't see why. The Gen 4 engine is still totally enjoyable today, and even the generally agreed upon best Pokemon games, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, are on that engine. So I honestly don't think Gen 4 remakes are very likely. However, Gen 3 did get a remake in the form of Oris, indicating that Nintendo thought those games were outdated enough to warrant the remake treatment. You know what else is on the Gen 3 engine? Fire Red and Leaf Green. So the most recent version of Gen 1 is on an engine that's already been remade. What do you think would sell more copies? Gen 4 or Gen 1? I think that's more likely to happen, and just based on Nintendo's current patterns, I predict they'll do it after the main series Gen 8 games come out. Think about it. Ever since Gen 4, they've been alternating sequels and remakes. Gen 4 comes out, then remakes of Gen 2. Black and White, then sequels to Black and White. X and Y, then remakes of Gen 3. Sun and Moon, then sequels to Sun and Moon. What's next? Gen 8, and then a remake. And I just really don't see them remaking Gen 4. But Pokemon has been more unpredictable than ever about certain things, so I could be totally wrong. In fact, if you want to get all conspiracy theory about it, when Ishihara is speaking at the beginning of the Direct, he has a bunch of Pokemon and Pokemon games behind him. And Gen 4 is mysteriously missing. A hint of things to come? Probably not. But if I'm wrong about my Gen 1 remake prediction, just remember I pointed this shit out, okay? Anyway, we should probably address what we saw in the brief Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon footage. Well, it's not much. We see the 2 protagonists, the Alola region, some horrible Pikachu Fanatics trailer, and most notably, it looks like Solgaleo and Lunala got fusions. I gotta say, I'm not thrilled with this idea. We already did the whole fusion thing back in Black and White 2, and if you thought those were over-designed, oh, well, you've got another thing coming. It's like they gave a 6-year-old some Mountain Dew and just let him go nuts all over Solgaleo and Lunala with a Sharpie. It's pretty clear that these 2 are fused with Necrozma, a Pokemon with which I'm quite unfamiliar because I pretty much beat the Elite Four in Sun and Moon and then quit. What I do know is that Pokemon has been obsessed with gimmicks like these since Black and White 2. That's where we got our first fusions. Fortunately, those games didn't use the fusions as a crutch, and it still ended up being really solid. But then in X and Y, we got Megas, Oris gave us the Primal Fusions, Sun and Moon had Z attacks, and now, once again, we've got some kind of fusions. And there isn't anything inherently wrong with that, but when Nintendo comes up with a gimmick, they really like to force feed you that shit and make it the focus of the game, and it always feels kinda corny. I just want Pokemon games to be good again. Is that too much to ask? Anyway, I don't even know if there's really a point to this video. I just wanted to, like, dump my thoughts on the Direct out for you guys, so now you have it. As always, thank you so much to my awesome supporters on Patreon, especially Rackdy7, Donut Senpai, Angel Freisinger, Totter, the Icarus Gambit, the NM22, Mika Bunny, Proton Biscuit, Jake Hester, Stooge, Maroochi, and Ragnar-Amos. You guys are awesome. You guys make this all possible. You guys make it so I can continue to do this as a living and not go broke. Because California's expensive to live in. Stupid. Anyway, you guys are awesome. Thanks. Bye.